Welcome back, lazy gamers. Welcome back to ARA History Untold. Today we will look at the version 2.1 update. It's been out for a while and it adds a national crafting policy system. I've been testing this out and definitely have some comments here. Let's take a quick look at the patch notes first. The national crafting policy system was introduced for those who don't want to micromanage. Instead of dealing with per city or per crafter queues, you get a central place to set these values, manage these queues, and essentially fire and forget. If you are that player, there will be some useful points to note later. There are some obvious pros and cons here. The gameplay does get easier. You pretty much trust the game to make the correct call for you. If you're already used to micromanaging, I bet you will second guess if the game is doing things correctly. And things may not quite be perfect yet, as you will see. This patch introduces new culture traits and religion verses. We don't have a list of all the ones that are introduced here, but once in game, let's hope we run into some of the new ones. Honestly, I don't remember them all, and I bet I won't be able to tell the new ones apart. But these new expansions of the existing traits is very welcome. I know we could use more of these for variety and flavor. There are some balance and gameplay refinements added. Cities accumulate workers faster as they level up, and AI civs settle with more variation in distance. Yeah, not too sure about that. I'm sure we are still going to get forward settled, or very likely we end up inadvertently forward settling our neighbors. Things can get a little crowded depending on your map settings. In-game notifications have gone through some changes here. The aim was to reduce noise, and there are new notification controls. Let's check these out. Most notifications are relevant and useful, but it's hard to break out of the impulse to just hit next turn without going over all of them. It's easy to miss something important because you are mentally occupied with something else. I don't think any new blocking notifications have been added. Pretty much the only blocking notifications are for idle crafters, city level ups, and new unit produced. And we want them on, definitely. We want these to be turn blocking. Yeah, I don't see any new options for changing how notifications work here. It will probably be something we deal with in game. Besides that, there are stability and performance updates and bug fixes. I don't have a list of these. We'll start a game and try to spot the differences here. So I've been exclusively playing with the Nax 2 mod, and since this version dropped, I've been playing vanilla. If you haven't played with that mod, do check it out. The Nax 2 mod will expand the base game to so much more. But maybe wait a while because I have no idea how the mod plays with this current version. I guess try things out and reroll often. That's my motto. I'm going to pick a random leader here with standard map settings, Grand Duke difficulty. Yeah, but I will drop down to Duke if we get rushed or we land in a tough spot. Alright, we roll Thailand. Ramkhamhaeng. Ramkhamhaeng. So before, I'm not going to speak through some of the gameplay things that we normally do, but I do want to talk about the national economy screen. So, but before I go there, I just want to pull up the city screen here. In our Great Earth, right now you see this option managed by you, and in the version prior, you pretty much did not have any of these options. And when I would be presented with my first option here, I would typically set my feast, try to get one feast with max gold, so that I know that in 2 turns I will get my feast. And once I have that feast, and once that feast is slotted in the amenities, then I would have something to the effect of get jewels, like keep it on hand, just 1 copy, and once that copy is done, get infinite feasts, but back off of the urgency on them. So maybe keep the wealth on one of these, like something like this. 1 every 5 turns is on balance, because the feast amenity since the feast amenity is used in the cities for 5 turns. I don't know if I'll be able to reproduce this exact behavior with the national economy screen, but I would like to. Let's change this to managed by national policy. And it says it's currently making jewels without any accelerants. But if I do want jewels, I want to say that I want to do it with maxed gold. The national economy screen is a tab. So this improvements tab here is something that we have seen before and we pretty much are familiar with it. But this tab here is new. So right now there are only 4 things I can make. I don't have a workshop yet that can make the baskets and lithic tools, but I do have the great hearth that makes feasts and jewels. So what do I want? I want 1 jewel always on hand. And this priority, let's say it is high. And then feast is, let's say I keep the priority at the highest level. And I always want 5 feasts on hand. Now it doesn't let me set my craft, like what do I want to craft here? So because the feast has the highest priority, it is going to be the one worked on first. But I am going to change this to full wealth because I want to wait for the first feast to be done, and then I want to I can back off on the gold spent here. Let's get a scout first. A very arboreal land here, and we have only 1 4-food tile, and that's 2 regions. So we probably wouldn't want to be growing to this first up. So overall growth might be slow, but we are timber rich. We might have some growth issues here. The capital itself is a 3-3-2-3, 3 food, 3 timber, 2 materials and 3 gold, which is actually, I mean, 3 timber and 3. I would rather trade this 1 timber for 1 food, but that's fine. It is a 5-zone region though. Off late, I've been seeing a lot of 4-zone regions where the capital is locked. Alright. I'm going to try and keep my commentary to a minimum and try to talk about only when the national economy stuff comes online. Right, we are 1 turn in. We are 1 turn away from the feast. That's good. I mean, no surprises here, but the land is like, we have 0 resources. And it's quite rare for horses to spawn on like woods like these. Well, let's see. Maybe we get lucky. So, since I have my first feast plugged in, I'm gonna leave it like this with just 1, spending just the central gold here. Now let's go back to the economy screen, and I think I will need to, if I want to guarantee that I have the jewel before I make any more feasts, I will have to flip these. I will have to turn my feast to high and my jewels to highest, but with 1 quota. So it gets created. It's my backup amenity. Basically, every once in a while, it's getting rarer now, but it has happened where I do not have access to a second amenity and my city grows too fast. I don't think we are going to have a growth problem in this particular game, but it's just a habit that I've gotten into to make sure that I always have a backup amenity. So I think if I check my Great Hearth now, yeah, it's making the jewels. Yeah, well, so this guy will deplete in 5 turns. I do not have another feast handy. Okay. So maybe instead of keeping these at high and highest, I think I need to keep both of them at highest. Actually, yeah, I should probably switch these priorities after I have maybe 2 or 3 feasts in the bag. And maybe I can I can hurry that up by spending some gold. It might take a while to get used to. Yeah, this system is supposed to be something that makes your micromanagement less tedious and the gameplay more easy. But if I want to replicate the stuff that I actually micromanage, I think this process would still be as tedious as before. I think if you're a casual player or if you're new to the game, you will definitely find this useful. But once you get the hang of things and once you know what you're doing, it will be so much easier if you learn to micromanage, or essentially just take full control of all your queues. And if it doesn't interest you, yeah, you can totally have the national economy screen to fall back to. That's 3 materials, but it's only 3 zones. That's a 5-zone region. In fact, it's the only 5-zone region. Let's get that. And we don't have the food to start off on a settler, so I think I'll get a spearman. We'll queue up actually, no. Not yet. I get tempted to plug in dwellings, but dwellings consume food. And right now I'm waiting to get to 125 so I can queue up the settler. Very often I forget and I queue up things. And then I end up delaying things down the line. So in this situation, I would typically buy this spearman, but then my gold count would go down and I wouldn't be able to queue up my settler. So yeah, I think we want to get all our settlers out as soon as possible. Actually, let's take a moment and talk about Siam or Thailand. Ramkhamhaeng. The interesting thing for Thailand is he gets, like, his land force cap is 1 less than other civs, but we can settle 1 extra city, which is a good and bad thing. I mean, it's good because you get an extra city, but you are very vulnerable against an aggressive or a well-prepared neighbor. But the land forces give you +2 established relationships with other nations for each land force. Now remember that when you deploy a single spearman, it counts as 1 land force. Now later on, when you can group them up into wedges and lines, those 3 would constitute 1 land force. But if you have like in the beginning of the game, you have the ability to build 5. I would typically just like to pam out 5 spearmen, which when you meet your neighbors, which will inevitably happen soon, you will get a +10 relationship benefit. On higher difficulties, it is invaluable. It could be the difference between a neighbor rushing you versus being friendly with you. Besides that, you get an extra religion spread distance for each city you control, which means you want to spam cities and try to be as close to your city cap as possible. Which really means, I'm really hoping that there is enough land to expand into. And cities gain 5 culture for each religion improvement built in them, which means sacred rites, prioritizing a religion is going to be a priority. Is probably going to be the first thing we do in the next stage. And every alliance gives you 2 production in the capital, which doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, it's not easy making alliances. On a map like this, it's a small map with 6 civs, so there are only 5 potential alliances, and I guarantee that we will not be allied to everyone. We'll be lucky if we get 2 or more alliances, but we can definitely hope for 1. And yeah, that's pretty much Thailand. There is going to be a religion focus here, which, I don't think the religion mechanics have been overhauled in any way. But I really hope they do in some future versions, because the religion game, or how religion plays, it does feel broken. Or not broken, it feels incomplete. Right, we are a few turns in now. And let's see. We still are working up towards our feast, and we still don't have... We have 4 feasts in the bank actually, so because we got a couple of kills too. I think this is a safe spot to flip the priorities here. Let's make jewelry the highest and feast as high. So I think I'm pretty sure that the Great Earth is now going to be making jewels. And after that 1 jewel is in the bank, you can continue making feasts. And we will deploy this guy. And I think I'm going to try and grow to this this region. It's a 4-zone region, but I can actually put farms to grow faster. But before that, I'll probably need a workshop here, and then I'll need a dwelling. And of course, I need to make more settlers. Yeah, as usual, like the number of things you need to be doing is far more than your actual ability to do so. Alright, animal husbandry and nothing. Such as... Okay, maybe we get lucky with mandrakes and tea leaves. Let's pick herbalism here. And you can actually go and get some kills. Every kill, especially if it's a 2-hunt thing, will give... getting that backup feast from the kill simply means that I don't have to spend my resources to get it. So let's see. We have the 1 jewel in the bank, and we are making feasts at a net positive. And we don't use the jewels. Let's see. Maybe the first... I'm going to flip to... So this is what I'm going to do. When the first growth event happens, I'm going to use... Normally I would not if I have the baskets or some other amenity, but I will use the jewels. And when I do that, I want to see the national economy screen take over and flip the production of the feasts to the jewels first, just so that it backfills that the jewel that we use. I think the spearman can just hang out here somewhere. You should go back and heal. And we found a wheel. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Let's go... Yeah, the wheel has been slotted automatically in the Great Earth. That's good. And we do have a paragon. Engineer, strategist, pioneer. I think, yeah, this is an easy one. Engineer. I don't think I'll be building triumphs anytime soon, so 10% build production is perfectly fine. I would love to like A/B test this at some point, or maybe it's fine. Normally I would like, so right now my feast production is far higher than my actual consumption. When I'm micromanaging, I tend to keep this a little as close as possible, simply because it leaves me with a little more gold in the bank. Like in this case, right? I mean, I do have 3, the effort it took me to get to this 3 number. If I'm micromanaging, I'm actually, I would say that I would have the gold to buy my settler right now. And I don't think I can reproduce this with the national economy screen without actually micromanaging the national economy screen, which feels backwards. Cool, we have the exact gold we needed to get the settler out, so I'm definitely spending that. Why did this drop down to 1? Not sure. I am trying to make, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to make 5. I was at 4 here. Why does it say 0.1? I haven't changed anything. Oh, because I ran out of gold. Yeah, that explains it. Now this is a 3-hunt polar bear. So after the first hit, heal up completely and then deal with him. Okay, we are 9 turns away from growing. I think I'm going to place down my workshop here. And I think I will place the dwelling down. And you need to go somewhere. The game is telling me to go north. That's too close to my city center. Let's come to this tile here. and we can take a look. Event, hanging gardens. Yeah, may not, will be a while. So I still need to build up a stockpile of food before I can start getting my next settler. So things are gonna be, it's gonna be a while before I get there. So I might as well queue up the other 4 spearmen I will need. But I want to get the settlers first, as soon as I'm able to. Okay, you're gonna settle right there. What's 1, 2, 3, 3 hops away in a reasonably food rich area, and that is a 5 zone area. Yeah, let's take it. Alright, city's down. You should also use feasts, but now I need to do the same thing that I did. So okay, quick point here that everyone needs to consider. The Great Hearth is different from the Gathering Hall. So your Great Hearth in your capital, it is managed by the national policy, and you could pretty much do the same thing here for the Gathering Hall, managed by national policy. In this case, I want to reproduce or try to replicate the same kind of crafting balance. So this is saying 1 in 5 turns, which is essentially paying for itself. So I don't need to make it any faster than this is. But eventually, when I have a source of grain, I will definitely be plugging in the grain. So like, for example, right, like I know I'm making feasts here, and I know that in the Gathering Hall, when I'm making feasts, I'm using 1 gold. But the same thing, if I go to my Great Hearth, I'm making feasts, but I have a different set of accelerators. So there is, in a way this is good, but it does add a level of control and micromanagement, or not micromanagement, it's more management that you will have to consider. That every type of building that is making the same thing, it is not sharing a common ingredient recipe, for example. In this case, our Great Hearth feast is using gold in slot 2 and 3, while the Gathering Hall is using gold in only 1 slot. And this city can make... Actually, let's get a second workshop here, because I do want to see how the same building in 2 different cities plays with the national economy screen. And yeah, that's fine. Let's get the happiness. And no surprises via last. We have a growth event in Bangkok. And Bangkok is gonna grow to this 4 food region. And I think I can buy the... no. I should be buying this. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, the workshop is up. I think let's cancel these spearmen. Let's put the farms down. And this city, after it gets its workshop, can get the spearmen. Okay. So we have a workshop here, right? And I'm going to switch this to manage by national policy. Obviously, I don't want to plow. Well, let's see. So one thing that annoys me is I cannot see the recipe here, which is actually fine. In fact, I think the plow... Let's drop this to low. Lithic tools to high and baskets to normal. Let's leave it like this. Low, high, normal. Let's say we want a stack of 12 lithic tools on hand and 12 baskets on hand. In fact, actually, let's leave the priority the same and see what happens. Let's leave these both at high, lithic tools and baskets. So I am pretty sure that this workshop is going to... Yeah, it's switched out of the plows. It's making the lithic tools, which I am going to accelerate with timber. and materials. And nothing else. Now, how do I change the... I want to do the same thing for baskets. So, how do I do that? But the moment I do this, I think it's going to switch the priority. I think it's going to say managed by me now. Yeah. So no. So managed by national policy. Yeah, this went away. Okay. So I might need to... this is going to be annoying. When I have lithic tools in the bank, when it's making baskets, I want to plug the ingredients for the baskets. And I should do it as soon as possible, because what's going to happen here is whenever this switch happens from lithic tools to baskets, if I do not have the ingredients slotted in, it's going to say 1 every whatever turns, and it's not going to use any of this stuff. Or maybe it does, and maybe it just flexes between, or it uses the appropriate amount of gold, I think. Which is something I don't want to be doing. I want to be saving my gold. So I'd rather give it the ingredients it needs to use from the get-go. I need a way to set that in the national policy, where like here I can set my lithic tools to use these, but I need the same thing to do for my baskets, which I'm hoping will be in the next few turns. Okay. Pyramids of Giza are doable, but I'm not sure if they are going to happen in this game, or if they do, we will have to wait. Yeah, it'll be much later, I think, if it happens. Alright, herbalism is done. Let's see. God damn it. Nothing. Oh, we have 1 T node here. Okay, that's something. This is the thing with vanilla, right? If you start playing with the Nax 2 mod and you get used to the Nax 2 mod, it's hard coming back to the vanilla game and try to get used to how things, like what these things do. Like in this case, the tobacco, all it's going to give me is gold. Yeah, I can't use, I mean, it's practically useless. It's not going to be an ingredient into anything else that I will build later in the game. It is just going to be this thing that gives me gold. Do have a claim. If I'm leaning into a granary, I should be going and getting the grain here. Although this is such a better tile. I think let's do it. I think I have enough reserves to queue up another scout, which I think I should. We haven't met anyone yet, and there is a lot of stuff to pick up. So now, let's see. Going to our workshop is still making lithic tools. Right, so what does our national economy screen say? Both are high. We have got to 6 here. So I'm assuming that if it's at 6, it should switch to baskets at some point. Let's check next turn. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So now that I switched to it has switched to baskets. I definitely... Now, if I did not do this, I need the ability to set this up before, at a prior point in time. I don't know if the game will like take over this ingredient list and like flood it with gold to get the basket. But I probably need to replicate like a forced situation where I'm completely out of an amenity and I don't have the ingredients for it. And I'm trying to make it something to that effect. I don't know how to recreate that exactly, but I'll try to figure something out there. I'm trying my level best not to micromanage or not to dive into the screens and start micromanaging. But for what it's worth, it's working as expected, but maybe not optimally. Our feast is fine. The 1 jewel is unused. That's okay. We are making lithic tools again. Yeah, I think it'll keep flipping back and forth between the lithic tools and the baskets. I'm curious to see when my second workshop comes online, what or how it's going to do this. Yeah, we'll find out in 12 turns. A lot of stuff to clear up in this area. There's a meteorite up here. I think my next city goes somewhere in this block. Generally speaking, the area north, when you have an idea of where you are on the map, lands away from the poles is going to be far more contested. So you want to settle into this area first. But I'll try to be as conservative I can in how much land I end up grabbing. Hey, we met our first tribe. Tak. Okay. So now if I only want to research one more tech before I advance, I think I'm going to pick archery here. I think archery and animal husbandry, no matter what, you always want them. Okay, that's fine. One relationship. And actually, yeah, one more point into them and they will join Trang. Event. We met Kamfeng Fet. I'm tempted to do this, but let's try to be friendly with everyone. We are growth challenged in our capital. In fact, in pretty much most of our cities. So anything I can force to add the population, I actually welcome it. We do have a horse here. So maybe a city in this area is probably better. Something on the coast here. And there is a limestone that could be useful eventually. At higher difficulties, the game does go slow because it just takes you so much time to do things. The important thing here is getting to 5 population as early as possible is extremely important, which is not happening in the capital, in Bangkok. Because that opens up like a bunch of you get your first expert, you get your first, you get a bunch of growth boosts at 5 pop, or at least it used to be 5 pop. I don't know if that has changed, but we are close to growing here. All right. What do I want? I think as long as I get my farms down on this block, I will be fine. There is no other resource to grow out to. I'm a little material challenged at this point. This area is not bad, especially if I can put couple of stone pits on them. But I don't think it's as urgent. I think let's try to grow more. And I think I'm going to buy that. Okay, generally speaking, this entire area here is going to be Bangkok. This city is going to be in this area, so maybe settling, not averse to settling on the region with the horse, but I would much prefer actually this is not bad. That's a 5-zone region right next to the horse. That's fine. We'll make it work. And we will switch this to national economy screen too. So this one started off with baskets and it has not inherited the queue or the ingredient list that we had from the other one. And I have a feeling that when it flips to lithic tools, it will do the same thing, which is extremely annoying. So how do I set the national economy? Like I need to set the recipe up front somewhere and I don't have the means to do it. Or if there is a way to do it that I have not seen yet, definitely let me know. I need to know. So now we have 7, we set a limit of 12 in each and we have 7 lithic tools and 8 baskets. And let's see, what is our first workshop doing? He's making lithic tools. Okay, so managed by national policy, use materials and timber, make the baskets. I don't quite know exactly. So every game I've played, I've only switched between managed by you and managed by national policy. I don't quite know what managed by shopkeeper means or how best to use it. But once I'm going to, once I play around with this and get a handle on, I'll probably put out a follow-up. And let's get the scout here. And after the scout, get the next settler. Right. Now, Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch this to using feasts. My Great Hearth is making feasts here. I use my one lone jewel. At some point, I'm expecting this to switch. Hasn't switched yet. I think it'll switch next turn. Yeah. And it is using the 3 gold that we set up. So we'll have this next turn. We are negative on gold, but it's only for another turn. Yeah, let's jump to bronze working. And I definitely want a farm here. In fact, I'm just gonna... No, let's wait. I think of all these farms, since none of these farms have been placed, this farm is far more valuable because it's a wheat node. And I'm just going to put all 3 farms here. Typically, when you're making feasts, you can use any syrups that you have on hand. And we do have some, right? Yeah, we have 4 syrup, 2 spice, 2 salt. So you could use them to make your feasts or to make something. But you're going to run out of them. It's going to be transient. And later in the game, the same thing will happen with furs. Right? This is what we have collected from from the resource caches and the animal kills. Unless you have your own node that is letting you make things, I tend not to use them for anything. It's just a habit that I have. In a pinch, I will. What's most likely to happen is I will set it up in the queue somewhere, run out of it, and then forget about it. And then it gets harder to keep track of what's what. We have 9 baskets and 9 lithic tools. And what are our workshops up to? Yeah, they're making 1 of each. That's great. I want to see if they start making plows after I get the 12 that I've set. In fact, just to push that along, let's make this 10. And we'll find out soon enough. Right. The scout is ready. You are going to start clearing up animals and collect that. So another min-max thing that I would do is when I would see this tiger, like attack him with the military unit. Now after 1 turn, tiger is at 2 hunts, right? Let this go for 1 more turn. Let's deal with this event first. Oh sweet, Dark is going to join us. But I need to give up knowledge or production. I think knowledge is fine. Production I need. Right, Dark will join that city. There are 2 hunts left on the tiger. Alright, next turn. There is 1 hunt remaining here. Now back off. Go somewhere else. So that when the scout comes to clear this, it's an easier enough kill. The scout doesn't have to waste 3 turns to get that kill. Just a simple little thing, but if you do it consistently, it does feel a little grinding. But if you do manage to do it consistently, you can get the most out of your scouts and your spearmen. In fact, the most out of your land, really, if you think about it. Yeah, feasts for sure. Okay, now what is this guy doing? Managed by you? No. Managed by national policy. He should start making feasts, actually. Let's see. We'll know next turn. And this city here, you need to start thinking about diversification. Let's start with an archer. I think let's make Drang. Yeah, the security in the capital is slightly worse. So we'll deploy it in the other city. Yeah, we can do the same thing to this tiger. Take it down to 2 health. You have a claim. Yeah, this city is going to grow fast, but it's going to take a while. I think let's get that and try to put some industry stuff or plan some future industry stuff. It's a nice 5-zone region with 2 materials, and you need a dwelling. Damn it. Okay. So everything needs to wait. The dwelling needs to come out first. So we have a region claim, either a region claim or a available trait. And let's see, 1 prestige per turn, flat prestige per turn is actually not, it's okay. I mean, think about it. We are at turn 57. It's going to around the turn 200 mark is when this act is going to end. So it's really just 150 odd prestige that we have. A flat 50% bill production towards culture improvements actually is strong. Science improvements giving prosperity could be good, but it's going to happen so much later. And even culture improvements, right? Like, except for the flower field, I don't think I can build any early cultural improvement. I think I'll take the prestige. It's fine. Either that or the claim. But it's fine. Let's take it. I mean, I think we suck anyways, so let's see. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we are falling behind hard. And this guy needs to heal. I mean, I could use one more scout, to be honest. So much stuff to do. And we do have a neighbor in this area. So maybe a city here needs to be reasonably close to my capital. I think maybe that tile right there is pretty okay. Yeah, one of these regions. Probably that one. It's the only 5-zone region in the area. Yeah, I think I forgot about this. It's spent quite a few turns leaving the amenity slot empty. In fact, like, try as much as possible not to leave an amenity slot empty. It slows your city down. You will lose out on quality of life stats that are actually giving you better yields overall. Easy to forget or easy to miss, but the game does do its best to give you the tools to kind of find that. Like here, there's this tab here, view your cities tab. Whenever there is a icon on top of it, in fact, any of these things, whenever there is an icon on top, address it, give it a look over. This was telling me, it was staring at me in the face, telling me that the city is missing an amenity, which I completely missed. So we have 9 baskets and 11 lithic tools. Wait, why do we have 11 lithic tools? Or maybe I think I made the 11 before. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, this guy is making plows. Which is sad because, yeah, I don't have cattle, horse or camel. I do have metal ingots I could use. Oh. Yeah, I could do that. 1 every 5 turns on a low priority. Yeah, let's leave it like this. And if, this workshop flips to the plow, I would do the same thing. Yeah, let the game do its thing. I'm not going to worry about it. Because the plows are going to get slotted into the farms anyways. I have 0 farms right now. Because I've placed them down, but I have deprioritized the actual construction of the farms. Which, as pretty much as all my games go, this is par for the course. I almost never build anything on time. I mean, definitely in the early game. Later in the game, when you get a bit of momentum, the game does get easier. But these early stages, things are slow. Alright, bronze working is done. And we have another city cap, or we will have another city cap. So let's do this. Let's finish this farm that we are working on. But we should queue up a settler right behind it. And we definitely want to be going to Sacred Rites first. Alright, new Paragon Artist. 25% craft production in the capital actually sounds good. In fact, it sounds very good. But right now, except for my Great Hearth and my workshop, nothing else is doing any crafting. Or I could take the profit and let's think about this. I think I will need the prophet as a cultural advisor because I am going to be trying to prioritize my altars as soon as possible. In fact, the moment I have Sacred Rites, I'll be placing down my altars in all my cities and getting them out ASAP. So let's get that. I forget that I am Thailand. I need to lean on my religion. Okay, you're going to get a free tech. I'm tempted for wheel, but I'm actually going to go for irrigation here. Actually, even trading is the best bang for the buck because it gives you 300 research. But the reason I want to pick irrigation is because it opens up the hanging gardens, and I can place down a flower field, and I'm in good shape to get the hanging gardens if I so want. Because I do have an act goal for it, right? Yeah, I do have an act goal for it. Let's try for it. See what happens. My gathering halls are idle. Because I have 5 feasts. I have 3. Well, why are they idle then? Maybe next turn. So it looks like all this land is mine. This entire peninsula is mine. So that is a blocker city. In fact, that's going to be my military city. And then I can another city down here somewhere, possibly in the future. And then everything else up north here, and maybe at least 1 or possibly 2 cities on the side. I have a feeling there's going to be someone here. There's just a lot of land that, I mean, considering that the resource caches haven't been picked up and animals haven't been cleared, yeah, it's quite likely there is nobody else here. Ah, come on. Okay, I'll give you the spearman. I have to remember not to deploy one. There you go. Korea. Doesn't like us. Alright, new city down. Yeah, definitely use the feast. Why aren't you making anything? I gotta remember to check next turn. But this guy, I want to put down a watchtower. Turn has rolled over. My workshops are fine, they are doing their thing. The Great Hearth is making feasts, and the gathering halls, not all of them are making feasts. The new one is not doing anything for some reason. Why? Why are you idle? Maybe the game is computing that I don't need this guy to do anything to get my feast count up. My 5 is my magic number. I already have 2 in the bank, and we are just about breaking even on this. But if any given point in time, if my cities need, if I end up spending 3 feasts all at once in my city growth events, I will not have the feast to plug in. So then what does the game do? So you want to be running a slight surplus, or you should not be produced. I have the means to do it, right? I have this gathering hall is idle right now, and it can start producing it. But like when it gets to this number here, I do need to push this up, or the game needs to push this up. I don't think it is doing it. Right, we got the feast and the other stuff. But killing the tiger does deplete health here, so I think we'll have to heal you up completely before doing anything else. So one of the things that the AI does is it holds a grievance against you when you start hunting. Now, this node here is so close to my city. She should not be upset about me killing this cougar. But when I do, she is going to get upset. In fact, I think any kill, like let's see. Yeah, we'll get a kill. This one, we'll get this kill here, right? When it happens, we'll find out. Let's get that. We'll put some lumber camps down. We have a first expert. I think Great Hearth. 10 research per turn, 10 city production, and 150% craft production. That's the reason why like having a high growth capital is so important, because okay, let's plug this guy in. And so what turn is it? It's turn 72. You want this to be happening somewhere in the turn 40s, or maybe as late as 50s. If you're really lucky, this can actually happen just about turn 40 or maybe even earlier. There were a couple of games where you have like 4 food regions growing out to 4 food regions. You're pasting farms all over the place from the get-go, and you're getting to that 5 pop event, and you have a tribe join you, and you just before you know it, you are at 5 pop. You're unlocking that expert. Expert is huge. 5 research per turn is invaluable, and considering that we haven't got a scientist paragon, I mean, this is, yeah, science wise we are going to be pretty much lagging right now. But that 8 city production is huge, and it will make the difference between whether you stay relevant in Act 1 or not. Right. So now my feast production is slightly lower than my consumption. So now what? What are my great hearth is idle. The gathering halls, I don't know what's happening here. Maybe the game just needs a moment to reset. Because it's a like the next turn, like everything is an order that you give that happens next turn. It's not really predictive as to what's going to happen next turn with the crafters. Yeah, so we finished the scale, right? Let's check out. This is not right. I mean, if anything, this mechanic needs to be different. Just because I hunted, doesn't matter where, right? Like I'm hunting right outside my borders. Doesn't matter where. I could have actually maybe hunted here, and she would have had the same problem. There needs to be like a geographic. Okay, so if I'm hunting in land that is closer to her than to my land, totally understandable. Definitely needs a tweak. And the only way, if you're trying to play a pacifist game, you have to pretty much abandon hunting and clearing out of these animals. There is no way you can keep that up and not keep your neighbors mad at you. Since Sacred Rites is done, I will flip to altars all over the place. But it might just make sense to switch to we will switch to theocracy after getting our first altar. But I want to be aiming for the pyramids of Giza. That should be the next thing that I need to plan for. So I definitely want masonry. Yeah, let's get it. We did leave pottery behind in the last stage, so masonry is important. Shall get a altar, and the altar needs to come out. Like at this rate, like these two farms here at the bottom, I had slotted them in or added them to the queue, like what, on turn 20 or turn whatever, something very early on in the turns, and they have just getting deprioritized. But in this case, finish the settler, and then build this altar. While the other cities, I think, can pretty much build the altar immediately. Yeah, get that farm, and everything else can wait. And we will place the altar right there. And the altar comes out next. I mean, even with the discount, it is 10 turns in the city. And the farm can wait, I think. You can place the altar there. 24 turns. Rankings. Yeah, we are exactly half of her. I need to raise the production in the city for some reason, somehow. Why is the gathering hall freaking making codexes? Okay, this is annoying. Okay, let's see. Let's change a few things here. Let's say that we want 10 feasts or 12 feasts on hand, and you're making festivals. Why? 375. I mean, let's see if it switches back. Let's see if it switches back to the feast, just because I raised the limit on how many I need. I don't think it's going to do that. And here, even in this case, this is going to be annoying. What I don't understand is if the game is actually doing this correctly. And that's the hard part, really. Is there something I'm missing that the game is trying to compensate for? But it doesn't make any sense. If something is 1 every 300 turns, there is no value in having that slotted in unless there is an accelerant in place, which I haven't set, and I don't know if the game has picked one up by itself. Iron Age, okay. So this is how bad our science is. We just finished Sacred Rites. We are just about finishing masonry here, and the act is already somebody's already advancing has advanced to the Iron Age. And this is on Grand Duke. This is not even any higher difficulty here. Oh wait, this is different. She is white with a red border, and this is somewhat different. We haven't met this. I thought this was Korea here. Oh. But I still didn't hunt close to her. I hunted right next to, yeah, this is. For a second I thought that I was wrong and yeah, no. Look at that. It's very rare to see a zone where everything in the zone has something on it. Like elephants and pigs and salt. Ah, sweet. They will join the capital. And we have a settler. I think, yeah, maybe not. I would like to settle something in this area here. But I don't want to invite war if I don't have to. I think go north. Go this way and kind of seal off this area. Yeah, let's do it. Let's not overthink this. It's possible we might be forward settling someone hard, but it's fine. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I think wheel, because just in case I need cavalry, I will need cavalry at some point. This altar will be up in 6 turns. This will be up in 3 turns. So we'll be getting our religion in 3 turns. Like, okay. I have 2 feasts. All my cities are using feasts. I'm still producing them at about the same rate I'm consuming them. The Great Earth is making feasts, that is fine. Why the fuck are my gathering halls making... Yeah, this is not cool. If we are forced to make it, then we shall. So 5 feasts and... Okay, so let's do it this way. I don't think so. What am I going to use my codex for? The codex itself as an amenity is something I probably will not be using. But I would like... I mean, if I do build the Sagrada Familia or the Monastery of Batala, I will need them. Right? So there needs to be some on hand. But it is used to craft newspapers, so I really don't need them right now. So what I can do is... I don't need 5. I just need 1. And I don't have to worry about it. And I should probably check the other things out. Festivals, let's say we want to keep 4 on hand, because I do want to plug in festivals as an amenity. Effectively replace the feast with festivals as the game goes on. But for now, we can leave it like this. Flowers, grain stores, herbal medicine. I don't have the means to make this yet. Jewels, lithic tools, and plows. Okay, that's fine. Everything else... Okay, so this is going to get cumbersome and tough to manage when this list keeps growing. And yeah, we can sort this by just the... Yeah, okay, that's good. At least there is a way to shorten that list somehow. As you build more and more military, let's see if there is an active thing that is telling you how much the multipliers are. Not sure. But everybody can fortify and just stay in this area. Alright, religion to be founded. Let's pick a custom religion here. Yeah, okay, so this brings back stuff. I think Sacred Temple is the safest, because all we need, the only unique thing we need that we don't have access to is candles. Everything else needs, this one needs concrete. Actually, concrete is probably slightly easier. Because, well, if I lean into ceramics industry though, but I think candles will be fine. We will be building some of the religion stuff that can make candles. That's okay. Tamar of Georgia. She's neutral. Okay. Oh, she captured her city. Okay. So, where is Korea? Oh, good God. Yeah, the monster, or rather, the snowballing sieve is right on our doorstep. So, very likely this doesn't end well. Right, verse available. Health in all cities, profit big chance, or 1% growth per turn for each region. This helps like wide empires, or like the capital, for example, has 6 regions. So 6% growth per turn. Doesn't feel like a lot. But I think the +5 health secularly is going to be good. Let's take that. Okay, let's just make sure all my great threats are managed by national policy. Yeah, it is. Now you are making a codex and I want... come on, man. Yeah, so I'm going to stop now. There is a real problem here where, like, not the workshops, but with the gathering halls, like when there is stuff, when different gathering halls pick up the things, like this guy is making festivals, that is fine. You are making feasts and you're dealing with the single gold, while you are using this one food. Why? If anything, do that. But if any of these guys flipped what they're doing, like if this guy decides to start making codexes instead of feasts for whatever reason, I forget when I slotted in the leather in the codex. I think it was in one of these other cities, and that flipped back to a feast. And some other city decided to start building codexes, and I had to plug this back in again. So the default queue stays empty, and that is not cool. There needs to be a way to set that default queue from the get-go. Maybe even create like a configuration, like load from a configuration kind of thing. Because pretty much every game you will end up doing this and spending a good 5-10 minutes just setting it up. I mean, in the early game, there are only like 5 things to worry about, so you don't have to think about it. But as time goes on, it's... Yeah, if you're not expecting the results of micromanagement, I think this is fine. What the game is doing for you is perfectly okay. Just watch out for traps like where you are constructing something for like 300 turns. Those things are never going to finish, and there is no point to that crafter spending time doing it. But if you're comfortable with micromanaging, unless there is something I'm missing, I don't know how this helps you. Or at least it's going to be challenging, and there is definitely a learning curve ahead of you. For all these crafters, I haven't yet dived into what managed by shop owner does, and maybe that solves that problem. Maybe I just need to try out different scenarios and see what happens with this option here. Hopefully that could be the answer. As I learn more, I'll put more content out, and probably my next video will be more to do with things that I've observed in the updates, or it might just be straight gameplay video. One of the things that I really wanted to do was put out an end-to-end all acts next to mod game. Like the amount of time it would take to finish an entire game, have the videos out. I think like on an average, the next to mod is being updated every 45 days. That's what I'm aiming for, but whether it actually practically happens, that's going to be an open question. But I'll definitely try some test games out with the Nax2 mod, with this, with the latest 2.1 version, and see how that plays. It is safe to say that even though I may lean on the national economy screen for crafting queues that I'm not really concerned with, by and large, I think micromanaging is the right way, is the better way to handle this, even though it is cumbersome. And I know that this the national economy screen was supposed to make the micromanaging easy, but I don't think it does. Or it does need some little bit more work, or maybe it's just me. I need to learn some more. Thank you for watching, and yeah, tune into the next one. If you have made it this far and have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share with your friends, or consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you.